Good afternoon, gamers. Thanks for crawling out of your holes for another edition of The Last Word. You demand it, so we are forced at gunpoint to make a video about all the latest gaming news in the gaming world. I'm your host, Dora Thorson.
And I'm also your host, Tim Surratt. You say we're forced, but the extra $50 we get for making the video isn't too shabby.
You get paid, man? I need a new agent. Anyway, on with the show. And to start off, I have a question for all the kids at home. What burning affliction affects 2.4 million people and can't be cured with a shot of penicillin?
I didn't even know 2.4 million people know Brendan's mom.
What? I was talking about the Burning Crusade, the latest expansion to the World of Warcraft, the online phenomenon that is decimating social lives and helping over 8 million people live a coveted sedentary lifestyle. Blizzard Entertainment announced this week that the Burning Crusade sold a whopping 2.4 million copies in the 24 hours after its January 16th release, which makes it the fastest-selling PC game of all time. The expansion sold 1.1 million copies in Europe and 1.2 million copies in the US, and had some 1.7 million players logging on within 24 hours.
Not that this is serious advice or anything, but some of you people really need to get out more. But stay away from Brendan's mom.
Tish and tish, my good man.
The big news this week for award show nominations wasn't just about the Academy Awards and Tor's favorite movie, Dreamgirls. The day before nominees for the Academy Awards were announced, the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences let loose their finalists for the 10th Annual Interactive Achievement Awards. Not surprisingly, Gears of War walked away with the most nominations with 10, including nods for Game of the Year, Outstanding Achievement in Animation, and Outstanding Achievement in Online Gameplay. The game with the second most nominations is also not much of a surprise. The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, which was also nominated for Game of the Year. Other nominees for the top prize include Guitar Hero 2, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and I still don't understand why, but Wii Sports. Other top nominated games include Company Heroes with 6, Twilight Princess also with 6, Call of Duty 3 with 5, and yes, Viva Pinata with 6. Ready for some fanboy fire fuel? For you Sony fans out there, the top game for the PS3, Resistance Fall of Man, got 2. Even though Gears walked with 10, it still didn't top the big winner from last year, David Jaffe's God of War, which got 11 nominations and took home Game of the Year honors. For winners, check back in a few weeks as I'll be covering the awards from Las Vegas early next month.
A little side note, Uwe Boll's game-based movie Blood Rain was nominated for 6 Razzies, and that's the annual awards given to the worst films of the year. Quelle surprise. Anyway, we're going to do the rumor story a little bit early this week, only because there's been so much interest about what essentially is a non-story. This week, numerous sites and forum threads read headlines about Fallout 3 coming to the Xbox 360. And that's understandable since the once Left 4 Dead franchise is amongst the most revered in gamedom. So when producer Todd Howard refused to rule out the possibility of a 360 version of the game in an interview with British official Xbox magazine, the crowd, as they say, oh and wild. But while a 360 Fallout 3 makes sense since it's based on the same engine as Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, which did well on the PC and 360, nothing is official yet. Bethesda Softworks got back to us and said they hadn't announced any platforms, release dates, or information on the game, but news on it will be coming soon.
Speaking of Fallout, segue, there was much of it after gamers completed the single-player campaign in Halo 2. Among the complaints from gamers were its questionable level design, its brevity, and the most common gripe, its cliffhanger ending. I thought the game was great. But you know who disagrees with me? The game's developer, Bungie Studios. Speaking to U2's guitarist, The Edge, Speaking of British gaming magazine, Edge, several employees of the Microsoft-owned studio agreed with critics. Bungie engineer Chris Butcher flatly said, "We miscalculated, we screwed up." Many pointed towards the game's release deadline as the main culprit, which hopefully won't be a factor in Halo 3. Apparently, in addition to a less pressured production schedule, there is a new development structure intact which helps individuals throw in individual nuts and bolts easier. Speaking of Halo 3, segue! Bungie sent out acceptance emails to those who were admitted into the game's multiplayer beta, which is set to begin this spring. Did you get one? Because I didn't. Jerks. Speaking of jerks, segue! Let's check in with the GIMP, Brendan Sinclair, with more newsy freshness.
Thanks, Tim. Microsoft, Activision, and Nintendo all reported financial results this week, but we're going to pretend that didn't happen so we can talk about more interesting stories. First of all, Nintendo on Friday opened up the Wii News channel to its users. A collaborative effort with the Associated Press, the news channel delivers news and pictures from around the world to enlighten and inform gamers when they need a break from wand waggling. It joins other diversions like the Internet channel and the Weather channel that were released for the system last year. Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé commented on the news channel saying, "What Wii has done for video gaming, we hope it will also accomplish for news. However, it's much more likely the news channel will do for news what the Weather channel has done for weather," which is to say not a damn thing. Interestingly enough, the news doesn't appear to be filtered for content in any way. The morning it went live, one of the top technology stories was about the PlayStation 3 getting a European launch date, while a national news story reported on a South Dakota senator accused of fondling one of his teen pages. Perhaps most encouraging of all is the idea that this news service could open up the door for Wii puns in headlines. Aw, that's pretty sad. Maybe this isn't such a good idea after all. In less tragic news, a marketing blunder at the Sony Connect website this week saw a promotional banner go up for a trailer of the PlayStation 3 downloadable game Gran Turismo HD. The blunder was that the banner actually showed a screenshot from Microsoft's Xbox 360 exclusive Project Gotham Racing 3. While GameSpot readers commenting on the story speculated that it could be Sony trying to pull a fast one on gamers, or Xbox 360 loyalists hacking Sony's website, the truth is it was probably just a sloppy mistake. We did a Google image search for Gran Turismo HD on the morning the banner went up, and found the first banner-suitable screenshot to appear was the Project Gotham Racing image in question, with no indication as to what game it was really from. That's it for me. Tor, have a great weekend, and Tim, just remember that sometimes your words can hurt like fists.
Haha, I'll take that as a compliment. That's it for this week. We'll see you in February right before the big GameSpot Super Bowl party.
Well, I'm not one for American football, so it'll be a Super Bowl of rum and a World Cup of beer for me. But before you prep your Cool Ranch Fritos and nacho cheese encrusted buffalo wings, head on over to GameSpot/news for more news, including what the Pope thinks about violent video games, he doesn't really like them, and Looney Tunes headed to the Wii. So for GameSpot News, that's all, folks.